Hey Homeworthy, I'm Heather.
And I'm Michael.
And welcome to our 600 square foot apartment in New York City. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Before today's episode, click the join button below to support all of the storytelling we do on this channel. Our growing community of members help to directly fund more videos so we can capture these extraordinary homes from around the world. So join today to receive early and exclusive access to new Homeworthy videos.
Hi, I'm Heather Summers. I am a content creator.
And I'm Michael Summers. I'm a law student at NYU.
And today we are in our 600 square foot apartment on the Upper West Side in New York City. We share the apartment with each other, obviously, and our 3 young daughters who are all ages 6 and under. We rented this apartment in 2021. We were living in Sacramento, California at the time, knowing we were going to be moving to New York for Michael to start going to school. And we're having to apartment hunt from California, knowing that we weren't going to be able to come to New York and physically see apartments. We were just kind of trusting Zillow and Street Easy to show us enough to make a decision and hope that it turned out okay. So yeah, we were shooting to live on the Upper West Side, and this apartment popped up, and we loved that it was across from the park, that it had 2 bedrooms. We were really excited about 2 bedrooms as we have 3 kids, and we're kind of gearing up to potentially have to live in a 1-bedroom apartment with a Murphy bed situation. So thankfully we didn't have to do that. Saw the apartment, there was a realtor that came by and FaceTimed us and showed us the apartment, and we just kind of went for it, hoping that it would work out. So we're really grateful that it did, that we're happy with the apartment, the way that it's set up, and the location is amazing. So we're super grateful.
Yeah, I think we prioritize location number 1, and then of course it being across from the park, as Heather said, is amazing. But the ability to find this place too, that ended up being such a great apartment for its own part, was really something we're excited about.
Moving to New York City was definitely a bit of a shock, not in a negative way, but just in a logistical way of like how we had to, make it work to live here with 3 kids. We lived in Sacramento for 3 years and had a house that was not big, but not as small as this. And so we definitely had to downsize quite a bit when we realized we were gonna have to be living in 600 square feet with 5 people. So yeah, that was definitely a bit of a process, but I think it was nice to sell a lot of our stuff and start fresh, because what we didn't want was to force a lot of our furniture and things we had in California into a really small space. We knew that we were going to have to be thoughtful about the furniture we chose and the way we went about setting up the apartment to make it work and make sense.
I mean, I think we've never really needed a large space. We've always appreciated small spaces, but once we got into it, we really had to figure out how to make things work. And I think for the most part, it's been a really great fit. Of course, it comes with its challenges, but that's part of the fun too. Welcome to our living room. This space in our apartment actually fulfills 3 different functions. It's our living room, like I mentioned, also our kitchen, as well as our dining space.
And this is definitely and quite obviously a very multi-purpose space. And so we've, like we have in all of the rooms in our apartment, we've had to be really thoughtful about how we can make sure everything is functional while also not sacrificing any sort of design elements that we want to incorporate. And this cabinet right here, I feel like is a really good example of that. This is an antique piece that we found on Facebook Marketplace locally, and we have gotten really lucky with Marketplace finds, as we love to shop secondhand and find vintage and really unique pieces. So I love this one because I feel like it's both beautiful and also serves a purpose. We use it for storage, as we have coffee mugs and kind of spillover spices and things that don't fit in the kitchen. And then under here we've got some cookbooks and things, and then there's a drawer here as well that just kind of keeps all those little kitchen knickknacks and all those types of things here. I also love the height. I feel like it helps kind of fill in this space. It's kind of a small wall here between the hallway and the door that goes into the girls' room, and so I feel like the height it just keeps it interesting over here in this corner, which could be a little bit random to fill.
And I would say the height is even helpful too. Like a little thing, we don't have many drawers, but we actually keep our silverware up here. But because it's above eye level, it just looks like a decorative basket rather than silverware.
This dresser we also found secondhand on Facebook Marketplace. I believe it's originally a Restoration Hardware dresser, so not an antique, but still secondhand, which again we love to do when we can. This one actually used to be in our bedroom, but we got a bigger piece to give us some more storage in there. And we were gonna sell this one. We had a smaller table here for a while, but we just loved this dresser so much. We didn't really want to part with it and wanted to hold on to it for future homes and things. And we just weren't really ready to say goodbye to it. So we put it here thinking that maybe it was going to be too big. And it does take up quite a bit of space, but it has given us so much more storage here. We now use this to store like the kids' art supplies and things like that, crayons and all kinds of stuff. We homeschool, so we have lots of different things like that, school books and all kinds of stuff. So the storage that this has given us in this multi-purpose living, dining, homeschool, all of the above space has been amazing. One of my favorite things to do is to go to the New York flower market, and Michael always gives me a hard time because I tend to get flowers that are probably too big or he thinks are too big. But I love, especially in the springtime, these big branches. I love that they add height to this wall. And yes, again, stacked here on top of these magazines that give it some more height to fill this space going and to draw your eye upward. We also have our breaker box here, which is a bit of an eyesore. And so that has been a tricky thing to try to figure out how to work around. And so we added this framed picture of, actually, it's a little menu that we got from King Restaurant that's here in New York City. We went there for my 30th birthday. And so it has a bit of sentiment for us there to kind of try to hide the breaker box and do the best, that we could, trying to work with it being there and no options to move.
Our dining table, again, with some of the constraints of the space, we needed to find something that sat for people all the time. But luckily, actually, these chairs, which are great tuck under chairs, which provide more space. The one at our desk in our bedroom matches these four, and so we can bring a fifth in to all have family dinner. We really tried to prioritize, as busy as our schedule is, having dinner together, even if it's quick. Really because we just want to set that rhythm for our daughters, and then it's a good time for all of us to be together. But the table itself, really the only shape that would allow all those purposes to be achieved was a circle. And so it really actually allows us to kind of navigate the small space, either into the kitchen or into the more living area, but still having a large enough surface area for family dinner.
These chairs are amazing because they just tuck in so nicely with this table. The chairs are actually from Sunday's Furniture. And like Michael mentioned, we have one serving as a desk chair. And it just flows really nicely between the desk and the table whenever we need to move it back and forth. And we spend tons of time at this table. The girls love to color and draw. We do lots of Play-Doh and work and obviously eating and all kinds of things here at the table. So it's central because it has to be, but we also love that it's central because of all the different ways that we use it. Okay, we're gonna move to the other side of the room, which is our living room space. Over here we have two really cozy chairs. We've actually done a couple different things over here. We had a big long couch for a time and a plant over here on the wall. And it's kind of been a bit of trial and error over here to figure out what makes the most sense and is the most comfortable and functional because we're in here all the time. So we opted for two really cozy chairs. This one we got secondhand again through Kyo, which is an amazing secondhand marketplace that we love. Also this cozy Jenny Kane blanket. And then I love this round Studio McGee pillow over here. I just feel like it breaks up kind of the rectangular shape of the chairs and the bookshelves and gives it kind of a little bit of interest that I really like. And then this chair over here is also from Kyo, but it is a 6-penny chair, and we love the round shape to kind of give it a little bit of, to mix it up a little bit over here, that it's a different shape, different color to give it a little bit of interest, along with this wall sconce that we got. I believe this was Facebook Marketplace as well. And we have quickly learned that the more things you can get up and off the floor, the better. And so where you can hang things on the wall, that has been huge for us. So a big thing has been sconces, to not have floor lamps taking up space on the floor, or even like a side table that you put a lamp on top of. Being able to put lamps on the wall or sconces has been a great way to save space.
Yeah, and we used to have one of those old lights up on the ceiling that I feel like is in every apartment, at least in New York City, that maybe aren't the most aesthetically pleasing. And so we found this company, it's called Tulip, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Tulip shades. Yeah, so these are actually amazing, and I think it's the most brilliant renter friendly solution ever. I just think it's the best. So these Tulip shades, you attach them with command strips, and so there are no tools. I did it all by myself, and you just stick it up there and it just goes right around the light fixture that's there. It's genius. So we absolutely love these. We have them in all the rooms of our apartment, and these have been an amazing renter friendly solution.
I've always loved to read, and Heather does as well, and so we wanted to make sure we had space for all of our books. And one place we put many of our books, there's some in our bedroom as well, but many of them are here in the living room, and we use these burrow shelves, which are really great because they're actually quite modular. Like, this is 4 shelves put together, and we were able to kind of wrap them around the corner. And we really wanted our books to be displayed because number one, I mean, they're beautiful, and number two, I think they tell a story about me and Heather and our family and what we're enjoying reading, what we have enjoyed reading in the past, and then just our general interests. And so, if we have people over and if we host them here, often we'll find people looking at the bookshelf. And I think that's a really cool thing because it actually drives conversation and connection.
Yeah, it serves as art. So I like that it's kind of a bolder statement and sort of a focal point when you walk in from the front door through the hallway, entryway into here. It's kind of the first thing that your eye goes to, I think, because it wraps around the corner. It's just such a really cool and unique design feature that we've really enjoyed.
And we're fortunate too because it doesn't feel too heavy in a small room because we get such good light through this window, and the park's out there, and so it really helps with the room's overall balance.
We normally have toys everywhere. If you have kids in your life, you know that is inevitable. There are probably toys stuffed all under both of these chairs that you just can't see even right now. I like to joke with Michael that I stay home full time with the girls, and I'd like to joke with him that I feel like I just kind of clean in a circle all day, because with it being so small, you have to keep things up off the floor. You can't walk around. And so we have to, it's that balance between not wanting to manage the girls too much or manage their play and just like let them be and let them make messes, while also not going crazy, not being able to walk to the bathroom or into the other room. So it's definitely messy. We cleaned it up for you guys. We'll see how long it stays like this the rest of the day.
But we also make choices with our daughter's toys and what they play with. We try to really curate those things as well. And so
yeah, we don't have a lot of toys.
We don't have a lot of, just stuff. I mean, I think the things that they play with are things that are really special to them and sentimental, and they play with, for a while. More like imaginative play, situations. And so they'll move from room to room, and then we'll kind of clean up after them.
As they go.
Yeah. The building we live in is a pre-war walk-up. And in terms of the architectural style, I'd say it's fairly classic for New York City.
Yeah.
It fits the mold of many of the, mid-rise structures in Manhattan. What I think I love most is what the apartment enables. And I think for a lot of people looking at living in a 600 square foot apartment with 3 young daughters, and then of course us two with the busy schedule we have, they might see that as full of downside. But for me, in truth, I think this apartment enables a lot of closeness and intimacy between our family. There isn't really anywhere else to go when we're inside. Of course, we spend a lot of time in the city, but this apartment, I think breeds a lot of closeness between me and Heather, between us and our kids, between each of our daughters amongst themselves. And so that's my favorite thing about the apartment. And I think Heather has done a really good job of designing it so that it's a place we want to be, even though it's small. It feels very curated, and we're at home here. It doesn't feel, overwhelming. And so in that way, I think the choices that we have made in this apartment, facilitate really what it's all about, which is the closeness between the members of our family.
All right, now we're gonna make our way into the kitchen. This is it right here. It is obviously not very spacious, so that has taken some figuring out how to make it work as 2 people who love to cook. We have girls that love to help us cook, and we really enjoy, cooking together as a family dinners, and prioritizing that. So we have had to learn how to make this space as functional as possible, because it's something we use all the time. So one of the coolest things I think in the kitchen is this Evermill spice rack that we have mounted here on the wall. It's amazing for space saving. I mean, it's not taking up a drawer or a cabinet or, counter space, as we have hardly any counter space. So having it hanging on the wall has been definitely a lifesaver on that front too. And another great space-saving piece that we have here is this Yamazaki storage crate. It fits just right in between this kind of awkward space we have here between the oven and the wall. And it's on wheels, so you just kind of roll it out, and we keep our spices here, which is really great and handy as they're right next to you when you're cooking. Something else that we have had ever since we moved in that I think has been huge in terms of figuring out counter space and how to maximize it is this cover that we got just on Amazon for our stovetop. And so when we're not cooking, obviously it sits here. We can use it as a cutting board. We can use it as a place to prep dinner or what have you, a place to leave dishes to dry because we don't have a dishwasher. We have a mat that we lay out, so we just hand wash our dishes and let them dry here. So having this to cover our stovetop is a small thing, but it has been really amazing to help us make our kitchen be even more functional and give us a little more space. We also have this hanging basket here that we use to store produce. So this usually has bananas in it, but our girls are very avid banana eaters, and so we don't have any bananas at the moment. But yes, we use this to save space. We have a lot of mouths to feed. We eat a lot of fruit and, like I said, do a lot of cooking. So we use this for produce. So this, has anything in it from lemons to bananas to apples. It's a great way to keep things off of the counter. Also, our fridge is really small, and so sometimes we can't fit all of our food in the fridge, or fruit and things like that. So it's just another great place to put produce. We have a lamp up here on top of the fridge, as well as our air fryer, which we use all the time. Just a way to take advantage of this space on top of our fridge. It's a pretty small fridge, and so utilizing the space on top of it, I mean, you've got quite a bit of space here. So being able to utilize it in this way, I think, has been really helpful. Hanging up our cutting boards, and then, yes, getting a little more light in here as our kitchen is a little tucked away from where the window is in here. Having a couple of lamps in here in the kitchen has been really, really helpful as we don't get a lot of light. So we have this one. We also have this one over here in the corner.
Yeah, and I would just say about the fridge, I mean, it's a space to, like many people do, display their kids' artwork. And so it's kind of fun because we don't have much space, and so there's not a ton of areas to collect, what the girls do, but the girls kind of contribute to the aesthetic with all that they've done here. So in our house, Heather and I actually share the cooking. There'll be some evenings that she takes the lead. There'll be some evenings that I take the lead. I think it really kind of just depends on what we enjoy more, or sometimes our schedules might dictate, a certain night that one of us cooks. But I really love to cook any, meat or anything of that sort. It's been a little bit difficult to find different ways to cook, different items, because I love cooking outside on a grill or a barbecue, but we don't have that here. And so experimenting with different methods on the stovetop or in the oven or even with the air fryer has been exciting. And then I think, Heather really takes the lead. She loves to cook, pastas and vegetables and salad and things of that nature. And so those are the things that I might cook, but I definitely don't get as excited about.
Yeah, we leave the steak to Michael. He's cooks a mean steak. So over here we have actually one of my favorite vases that we have in the apartment. It's by a girl named Ann Weber Callahan who lives here in New York. I think she's Brooklyn based. And I love the shape. I feel like it adds a lot of interest over here. And having kind of design features and not just functional things in the kitchen is important. I like when there are things like a lamp or flowers or something kind of beautiful in the kitchen, not just appliances and spices and things. So love that vase there in the corner, as well as these decorative bowls that we have hanging here that I found on Etsy. They're vintage, and I just think the fish are really fun. Some of our favorite cookbooks over there. And then we have this wall mount knife rack here that's magnetic, another way to get things up and off the counter. This is possibly my favorite thing in the entire apartment because it keeps me caffeinated, which is really important. This is our Terra Cafe espresso machine, and we absolutely love it. It's Takes up a lot of space on the countertop, but that is a-okay because we use it all the time, probably too much. Actually, right now I have a couple different candles going in here. I have a candle here on the table and then one here in the corner. The scent is Cashmere. It's from 5th and Madison, which is here in New York, and it's one of my favorite candles. They're actually really affordable and smell amazing. Just really clean and light, nothing too intense, just really clean and fresh, which I like, especially in here in the living space. So our microwave is tucked away here in this corner cabinet that we have. This area is quite difficult to keep organized, as is most, as are most of the cabinets in here, just because there are so few and we have so many things to put in them. So there have been a lot of avalanches of, me opening something and it's overstuffed and things fall out. That's been exciting. But this corner cabinet has served us well for a place to put our microwave. So we have that here, as well as our pots and pans and things, kind of stacked bigger bowls for entertaining and things like that up here. And then that way it's not taking up space on the counters. So we moved into this apartment knowing that it was going to be for at least 3 years. What brought us to New York was Michael going to school, and he's in school for 3 years, so we knew that it was going to be for 3 years at the very least. That being said, we never planned for it to be a place that we live forever. We never saw it as that. We have never made some sort of commitment that we're gonna live super small as a family or anything like that. So we won't be living in this apartment forever. That being said, I think that what we have experienced as a family, I mean, kind of like what Michael was saying earlier, just about the best part about living here and what we've been able to experience just as a family unit. I mean, it's just been really invaluable, and I think it'll definitely be something that we carry with us, just in terms of, the thoughtfulness that it requires to live in a small space, and just the dynamics between us and wanting to share, common spaces and things in future homes and places that we live, no matter what the size is moving forward. I feel like it's kind of like a mindset that we'll try to carry forward with us in a new home. As far as decorating goes, I tend to like to change things and rearrange and kind of keep it ebbing and flowing. And so I feel like we have just tried to decorate it thoughtfully. Obviously, function has had to be number one in terms of, dual purpose items and storage, space saving things and all those types of things. So I feel like we've had to be especially thoughtful with the way that we've decorated it, both on the functionality front, and then we love, we want it to be aesthetically pleasing and have the vibe that we want it to have for our family. We want it to be really casual and livable, and nothing's too precious, but thoughtfully put together.
From my view, I'd say it's simple, but at the same time, we want it to feel warm. I mean, again, being in a smaller space, everything, we can't have complex, ornate pieces. I think we would feel like it would, dominate any room in this apartment. But we still want our simple pieces to feel warm. And so I'd say that's how Heather has kind of, put everything together.
All right, before we head into the bedroom, we're gonna stop in the hallway and show you a couple of special things that we have here. Michael and I love to collect coffee table books, and so this has been a growing stack over the years. I love that coffee table books serve as both decor, and also here they kind of serve as a table, which is a great way to make the most of something when you have little space. All of these books are special in some way, but this one right here, the book about Stephen Sondheim, is really sentimental. I feel like it kind of speaks to our experience here in New York too. We love to go see shows. I am a huge Broadway fan, and we've enjoyed seeing a lot of shows together since we've been here in New York. And Michael bought me that book about Stephen Sondheim after we saw Merrily We Roll Along on Broadway, which is a Sondheim show. So it's just really sweet and sentimental, and it just reminds me of that every time I see it.
Yeah, and here also going into the bedroom is a piece that I've pretty much demanded we have somewhere. I kind of said when we moved here, I don't really mind where it goes, but I just want it up. And it's The Return of the Prodigal Son by Rembrandt. It actually hangs in St. Petersburg, so the best we could do is a replica, of course, although having the real thing would be amazing. But it's just a piece really important to me, and it's a special biblical story that we wanted to have up. And so It's a great thing to actually have in an area of the home, even though we don't congregate here, we see it. So Heather is certainly the creative driver and the person who has set the direction for our home. But I do have a say on certain things, and I'd say the overall layout. Like there's things that I can perhaps veto, and Heather's also really good about coming to me and asking, hey, what do you think about this? What do you feel about a piece here or there? For me, my favorite artistic touch is actually all of our books. And so that'd be something where I have pretty much refused to get rid of them. I don't want to box them away.
And I have never wanted to get rid of
No,
books.
no, of course not. But
that would be
if that
one.
were to come up, I think that'd be a situation that I would have a lot of say in, because to me the books kind of tell a story about where you've been in your life, both intellectually and relationally, and even different places. And so that's an example of an area that I think I've had a decent amount of say. But otherwise, it's definitely a team effort. I think Heather is certainly the captain, and perhaps I'm a little bit lower on the chain, but I definitely am able to weigh in.
He has a good sense of style and a good sense of what looks good and what doesn't, and you definitely have opinions, and it's and I appreciate your involvement, and I feel like we have a good dynamic when it comes to making decisions about the apartment and things. There have been quite a few things though that I have suggested, and I tell him I promise this will look good, and it takes trying it to convince him. He's not quite so sure, but it always ends up being something that you like more. He'll be like, "You're right. This was a good call." So, anyway.
So we both went to Heather and I met in undergrad in Texas. We both went to Baylor, and Heather's a year older than I, and so we were initially, kind of mutual friends, and then I invited her to lunch, knowing that that could either stay as friends or perhaps go further. And luckily for me, it ended up turning into marriage and kids.
Yeah.
It'll be 9 years in October. Now we can head on into the bedroom.
All right, this is the master bedroom, if you will, even though it is exactly the same size as the girls' room. This room has changed a lot over the last 2 or 3 years that we've been here. We've had it configured a lot of different ways, but I think that we are the most happy with this setup. I think we've finally figured out how to make the most of this space without it feeling cluttered, and just how to configure everything. So we're super happy about the way that it has come together over the last few months as we've made some changes. We'll start with this bed because this particular bed is amazing for 2 reasons. One, it's beautiful. I love the boucle fabric here, it has a headboard that you can't really see, but it's all just this beautiful boucle fabric. And secondly, it lifts up, and there's storage actually underneath the mattress. So this bed is from Sunday's Furniture, and the storage that it has provided us has been amazing. I mean, we need all the storage that we can get, and this bed has been incredible. You just lift it up, and then it actually stays open all by itself, so you can get out what you need or put away things and then just put it down, and then that's it. So I love that you don't have things just stuffed under your bed, and we can actually be thoughtful about the way that we organize what's under there. So huge fan of this bed for sure. So these sconces on the wall over here are actually a pretty new addition to our room, and we're super happy with how they turned out. These are from Ravenhill Studio, and I just love the warmth that they add, and I love the shape of the shade. I think it's just really unique, and it's just kind of a cool design feature over here. Like I said, in the living room, we're huge fans of sconces where we can do them because you're not taking up precious table space or floor space, and so the sconces over here are perfect. We also just moved our bed. It used to be in the center here, centered on the window, but we found that we weren't quite sure what to do with kind of the awkward space over here on this side of the bed, and we just recently decided to scoot it all the way to the corner and kind of take advantage of this L shape that it creates here, which has been one of the best changes that we've made in this room, as it's given us tons of space over here. And then also we watch movies in here and kind of treat it as a day bed, or the girls will come and read books in here. So since we don't have a large couch in the living room, this has kind of served as like a big sofa daybed kind of situation, which has been really amazing. So we just got these pillows actually from Zara Home and used them to just kind of accentuate this L shape here, and tie it all together.
And over here is a desk we have in the corner of our bedroom. It's Sundays as well. And so I spend a lot of my time here, mainly in the evenings, but sometimes the morning as well, getting my work done for school. I really enjoy not just its aesthetic and the simple lines of it, but I also enjoy it's actually close to the bed, because a lot of times in the evenings, Heather will be in here working, or she'll be just hanging out, and I'll be here working, and I can still focus on what I'm doing, but it still feels like we're spending time together. And so it's actually been a better thing than I imagined, having a desk in our bedroom than I thought. I was a little bit skeptical. I had a home office back in California, but coming here, I was a little bit skeptical of how a desk in our bedroom would work. But so far, because I think of the way it's all laid out, it's been a great thing. Another thing about working here that I really enjoy as well is the artwork. And this is actually Heather's artwork. And so it shows that not only does Heather have talents as a mother and as an interior designer, but she's also quite the artist. And so I love to see something that we don't have much in our home, either pictures of ourselves or things that we have made. But this is one piece we do have that comes straight from Heather. And it's really great to have something that has beauty, but also the sentimental value attached to it.
Over here, we have this antique armoire that I am so in love with. I still can't believe that we scored it. We got it on Facebook Marketplace for us. It was a steal. I can't believe that we found it. We just saw it right when it went up and snatched it up, and we couldn't love it more. It actually ended up being a Christmas gift from my parents, which feels special as they live in Texas and we don't get to see them a whole lot. So it feels like something that reminds us of them, which is really sweet. But this has given us so much storage. We actually had the dresser that's now in the living room used to be here. And so it was just this portion. So we had 6 drawers total, and that was it. Having this, we have that plus this whole hutch area, which doubles our storage in here. It's been amazing to have all the extra space, and we've definitely needed it. We have some books stacked up there because we have books all over the place, and there is some space up there that we could put them, which is helpful. And then you can see that we have this really fancy rubber band here on the handles. As I mentioned, this is a really old piece, and the cabinet doors don't actually close all the way. So for now, we have a rubber band there to do the job. I don't know if we'll ever change that or fix it. We might just leave it like that. And then here we have this little mini lamp. This is also from Zara Home, and I love the size of it. I felt like we needed some sort of light source over here in this corner to kind of balance out the lamp on the desk, and then the sconces over here, and I feel like the size of this lamp is perfect. It just sits here so nicely, and then also when you open these doors, it doesn't get in the way of opening the doors because it's not too big, which is great. The plates that we have here on the wall are from an artist, and her shop is called Mellow, and she is based in here locally in New York City. I think her studio is in the East Village, or possibly the Lower East Side. I can't remember which, but she's local to New York. We stumbled upon her shop actually when we were just out kind of wandering around, and loved her work. I was looking for something to hang here at the time, and she was selling these plates already mounted, so it just kind of felt like it was meant to be. So we snatched them up right away. I love the shape and the swirls, kind of the kind of whimsical vibe that it gives, with a lot of just like clean lines and neutral colors. I feel like it just adds some really nice interest to our room. So super happy with those, and love that we were able to buy them from a local artist. That feels really special. Here we have this vase slash bowl. It could be kind of anything you want it to be. I choose to use it as a vase because I think it looks beautiful with flowers in it. This is from Ink and Porcelain, and I love the wavy shape of it. I feel like it ties in really nicely with the plates that we have on the wall. Have it stacked on top of this Paul Klee book that is one of my favorites. And we actually have a few pages ripped out of this book framed over here above the bed to kind of tie it all in. I love the color that it gives over there, but it's still really neutral. I like that it's kind of a different tone. With the black frames, I feel like it just kind of pulls this whole area together. So the artwork over here is actually just a few of my favorite pages out of this book. This table we also found on Marketplace. It was $20, I think. Previously, the person I think was using it as a plant stand or something, but we just needed something small. I was looking for something that was wood, but a different tone, not the same tone as this armoire here, and I like the contrast, but also the different wood tones together, I feel like it just works really well, keeps it really warm in here, which I really like. Last but certainly not least, we have another tulip light on the ceiling. Again, I think these are just the most brilliant thing ever, and these lights have totally changed the look of all the rooms that we have them in. So we have these, like I said, in every room, and here's another example of that. We love tulip.
For me, with my school schedule, sometimes it can be challenging to find space, quiet space to work. Again, in our bedroom, it's quite, spacious. We can have a bed and a desk, but even still, there's 4 other people not so far away. And so for me, it's tough to balance the work and life portion in terms of being able to focus on my studies, but then, have my whole family right here too. And so sometimes that's been challenging, but I think we figured out how to make it work. And luckily it's forced us to set, good boundaries with our kids if they know kind of, hey, daddy's working or mom's working, and I need to be able to focus on those things. And they're, for the most part, pretty good about that.
It's definitely challenging every day for different reasons and on a lot of different fronts. I mean, logistically, it's tricky to figure out storage, and we maybe have it all set up just right and everything's put away and has a place, and then maybe we get maybe it's a birthday or something, and kids get birthday gifts, or it's Christmas or something like that, or new things come in for whatever reason, and so there's not just a place to put a new thing. You're constantly having to edit and reorganize and figure out what makes sense with whatever you have on hand or whatever it is that you need to, find a place for. So that can get a little tiring at times, just feeling like you're always having to reorganize and be really particular about how you arrange something or how you put things away. And then, it's just as kids get older and bigger, their needs change. And so it's also a lot of figuring out how to make their bedroom work for them, how to help with dynamics between the kids and small space, and just navigating kind of emotionally how that can be for them sometimes. So it definitely it's a lot of effort to make it possible. All right, welcome to all of our favorite room in the apartment. This is the girls' room. So these are my girls. Can you say hi?
Hi.
Hi. Yes, and we all love this room for so many reasons. They are the only ones that have 2 windows in their room, so they get the best light in here, even on the cloudiest of days. It's really lovely to sit in here and look out their big windows and enjoy the natural light. They also have this nice corner window. We're actually on a corner unit, and so we get this nice corner window, which I just love. We like to sit out here and watch for taxis and dogs and double-decker buses and all kinds of fun stuff that we get to see out the windows here. And kitties too. So this is our bookshelf. This was another Facebook Marketplace find. It was pink actually when we bought it, but I painted it to just kind of give it a little bit of new life and to blend in, you think, a little bit too. Yeah, that makes sense too. So yeah, this is where we keep books. The girls love to read, and so we needed a place obviously to put all their books. So we have books here and books down here. This drawer, we keep things like hair ties and hair clips and all those kinds of fun things too. So this music box that we have up here is actually a music box of New York City. We got it for them for Christmas this past year as kind of a way to commemorate our time here, and they love it. When you turn the music box, the little taxi ferry actually goes around. It's really sweet. So that's something that the girls really love.
Here there is some reading books that you can read to practice reading, and there's some other books that you can read for fun, and Barbie's tiaras. They're all different colors, and then there is some trucks and horses, and a school bus, Yoda, and a clock that we use for nighttime. It gives us a sound machine and some light color.
Excellent, babe.
Thank you.
And thank you.
And some clothes.
And some clothes, of course. Yes. This is kind of a new addition to the girls' room, as they had sliding doors. Sure. You want to explain?
We had sliding doors right here, but they kept falling off, so we took them off all the way. And then we got a curtain rods, and then we got a curtain just for reading. We used to have a nook in here, but now Mom looks like she like separated it around, and well, that's it.
That's it. I actually found this. This is a vintage tablecloth that I found on Etsy. I just thought it was beautiful and the size was perfect. Just got a tension rod and then some little clips, hooks, yep, and then just put it right up there. It was a really easy project, and I love what this does. Yeah. I love what this design has added to their room. I just think it's really beautiful. Our goal with their room is just that it would feel like them and be things that they love and decorations they're excited about.
And what everybody loves in the family.
And yeah, we want it to be what everybody loves in the family. We want their room to feel connected to all the other rooms in the apartment, but we want them to also be really excited about it, and you know, it's theirs, so we want it to feel like them. So really happy with how this tablecloth worked out. Georgie, should we tell them about the princess chair?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, where is the princess chair? Who sits there?
Me.
Because you're a princess?
No.
No, this is what we call it. We call it the princess chair. This was a Facebook marketplace find also, just here in our neighborhood. And I believe it is like an authentic Victorian chair is what, oh, you okay? Is what the owner told me. But I just loved that it is actually a child's chair. It's their size, and I just think it's really lovely in this corner. They really like to sit here and read and play. And
It is itchy though on the bottom right here.
It's itchy on the bottom, yep. Yeah, we really enjoy sitting here. This is a light that we got from a shop called Ramble Interiors. I actually found it on Etsy. I believe it's made out of a vintage tablecloth, which I thought was really neat. And I love the floral embroidery. I just thought it was really sweet in the girls' room. I love that it's roughly...
Light bulb?
What?
Why is there a light bulb?
Because it's a light. You can't have a light without a light bulb.
Oh.
And so I think it's just a really nice kind of anchor for this corner space paired with the chair. I just think it's a really sweet little nook. Over here we have the girls' beds. This is a setup that we put in probably about 6 months ago or so, maybe a little bit longer. It hasn't been this way always. When we moved to New York, James, our youngest, was just 6 months old, so we had a crib and then we had bunk beds. And then eventually, as James got older and started walking, we just needed more floor space, and this room has changed a lot just as the girls have grown. But this setup has been really fun for them. It feels like a little dorm room. I mean, they just get to have a sleepover every night together, and they love it. So these beds are from Masonette. They are the Jenny Lind toddler beds. Their bedding is from Green Row, which I love the kind of crochet edging. And they have their little stuffed animals there that they sleep with at night. Above their bed, we have this vintage artwork that was also a Facebook Marketplace find. I think it was like $25, and it's huge. I couldn't believe what it was for the price, but I just love the colors. I love the neutral color that it adds in here, and I also love that it's just kind of fun and whimsical. Love the polka dots, and I just think everything about it just fits in really well with their room. I also like the black and brown tones kind of paired with all the florals and kind of more feminine feel. I think it's just a really nice contrast. Their wall sconces that we have here, I actually made myself. It's a frame that I bought off of Amazon, and then I used an old pillowcase to just kind of sew a little cover or a little like shade around it. To turn them on, you just use this little remote, and there you go. It just gives it a little something. I like that it frames the art and their beds, and I feel like it just kind of completes this little area here. I also like the battery feature just for their room because you don't have the cords hanging down. You don't have cords near the girls' beds or anybody playing with them in a way that's unsafe. So I think that this is a really good solution for a kid's room. Above their artwork, we have some storage for all their stuffed animals. Any way that we can go up and put things on the wall has been huge, living in such a small space, especially in the girls' room as they have toys and all these different things to figure out where to put them. So this is actually just a curtain rod that we got on Amazon, and we used it to store stuffed animals. So I think it's been a really good, affordable solution to get things up off the floor. It's worked really well. This wall here in the girls' room, it's kind of an awkward space. It's something that you can see from the living space. It's always visible, and we like to keep their door as open as possible just to keep their little walkway here as clear as we can. So we put a basket of blocks here just because it helps hold the door open and it kind of gives something to this little corner. And then put up a couple of pieces of art here that are still fun and tie in with the girls' room, but they're also neutral and match really well with everything that's in the main living space. So this little shell print was actually just a postcard that we got from a store. I just love the little seashells. The girls love seashells, so thought that was really sweet in their room. And then this is a vintage cross-stitch piece that I found also on Etsy. I love that it has hearts and birds and a horse and all kinds of fun little things. It feels like a, kind of whimsical and fun for a kid's room, while still tying in with the rest of the apartment really well. I feel like the best way to add soul to a space is definitely vintage. And I love to shop secondhand. We love finding unique things, maybe if we're traveling or things that maybe remind us of a place that we've been or something that we've done. We love to incorporate those types of things into our space. But yeah, I feel like there's just nothing like vintage in a home. And we have been really spoiled with the vintage that we've been able to find, and even just the secondhand, not necessarily vintage, things that we found living in New York. I mean, it's just endless, the things that you can find here. So it's been really fun to find special things that are either secondhand or vintage, antique, to bring into our home to help it be unique and just have a lot of soul. The word home for me means family. I mean, I feel like Michael said, just the experience that we've had as a family in this particular home has been amazing. And we've lived in a few different places ever since we got married and started growing our family. And so we have not had roots anywhere for longer than kind of 3-year stints, just as life would have it. And so home for me really is just family. I mean, I feel like we have a really good relationship as a family of 5, as well as really good, strong individual relationships with each other and our kids, and we're so grateful for that. And so I think that home, I mean, is going to be anywhere that we're together. If that might sound cheesy, but it's true. It's home's just being together and maintaining a close, tight-knit family dynamic and relationship.
Yeah, and the only thing I would add is just being in a space that facilitates those relationships and being somewhere that you are excited to be. I think other than that, there's not much else you could ask for.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.